We're here in the middle of Berlin, and we're about to put these 8 flagships head-to-head in the ultimate zoom comparison. So stick till the end to see which one of these bad boys will be crowned king. We're gonna divide our comparison into a few different categories, and we'll be using this bad boy right here as our main reference point. We'll start testing these zoom capabilities with objects like this one here. Then we'll see how good you can read signs and text from afar. Next up, we'll check out how good the zoom is at night. And at the end, of course, we also take a look at video quality. But why don't we start by taking a photo of the golden angel? Okay, not gonna lie, comparing 8 photos next to each other is kind of difficult. So to make it easier for you, we're gonna check one photo after the other, always with the photo from the Nikon P1000 as our reference point. Just a quick note before we dive in. We know some of these phones can't zoom all the way up to 100 times, like the iPhone, for example, which only goes up to 25 times. So to make sure we're comparing apples to apples, we'll be cropping all the photos in post to 100 times. Also, every single shot here is going to be taken handheld. Oh, and just a heads up, some phones here will be using a little AI magic to perfect their photos. We'll start things off with this shot of the Nike on the victory column here in Berlin. For us, in last place lands the OnePlus 13, because the shadows on the sculpture's face are just way too dark. The iPhone 16 Pro Max doesn't look very good either, with lots of grain in the sky and hardly any detail. Next up is the Honor Magic 7 Pro, which starts to capture a bit more detail, hence why it's placed better than the previous two. In contrast to the Honor, the Pixel 9 Pro XL does have more detail in the dark areas, but it looks a little softer. Then comes the Galaxy S25 Ultra. A few years ago, the Galaxy was the absolute benchmark for zoom photos, but this time it didn't quite make it to the top. The Xiaomi 15 Ultra really delivers and raises the bar for zoom shots. Unfortunately, its photo is a bit dark and the gold is too yellowish, but otherwise it is a great photo. Next up on board is the Oppo Find X8 Ultra, delivering a slightly sharper photo than Xiaomi's, plus the gold tone is just right. Who's missing? Ah yeah, the Vivo X200 Ultra, of course. As hinted, this guy clearly got some AI help to enhance its photo, but to be fair, some of the other phones did too. Vivo's shot is just impressive with a super nice gold tone and plenty of detail. I mean, if we didn't have the Nikon shot as a reference, many wouldn't even guess this was taken with a phone. So let's deliver some points to our best participants. The iPhone and the OnePlus get 1 point. The Pixel and Honor get 2 points. The Galaxy gets 3, Oppo and Xiaomi get 4, and Vivo gets 5 points. So the X200 Ultra takes the lead in the first round, but we're just getting started. Now let's see if we can get a good shot of our little friend over here. Sammy fans, you better grab an anti-stress ball or something, because unfortunately, the Galaxy shot is far too dark and it absolutely failed to focus on our dandy friend here, who by the way, is called Bartholomew. Next up is the iPhone. I mean, do I even have to say anything about it? I don't know, maybe the phone wanted to create a psychedelic NFT, we'd call it the Pixel Blender. Unfortunately, the OnePlus doesn't perform too well this round either. Even though the photo isn't blurry like the Galaxy's, it's just as dark and lacks detail. Next we have the Pixel. Even if details in the face and body are missing, the exposure is definitely on point. Honor is the only one that manages to capture the small buttons on our friend's waistcoat correctly, however, it completely amputated his right hand. Xiaomi performs very similarly to the Honor, but its photo is slightly brighter and the pattern on Bartholomew's waistcoat is more visible here. And here are our first 2 finalists. Pop quiz, one photo belongs to the Oppo Find X8 Ultra and the other to the Vivo X200 Ultra. Can you guess which is which? Slap that pause button and show you're better than everyone else by guessing it right in the comments below. Ready? Well, you better be. So the photo on the left is from Vivo and the one on the right is from Oppo. In our opinion, Oppo lands in second place. Its photo is good, but it did a Thanos and vanished the plants and the bike in the background. So Vivo clearly delivers the best results this round too. I mean, you can even make out Bartholomew's eyes and mouth really well, which at the same time is kind of creepy how good it is. As for the points, the Galaxy, iPhone, and OnePlus get 1 point, the Pixel gets 2, Xiaomi and Honor get 3, Oppo gets 4, and Vivo gets 5 points. So Vivo has scored 2 wins. Let's see if the other phones can catch up. Why don't we try and zoom into this guy over there, which by the way is our scriptwriter, Ezzy. So maybe you should take the opportunity right now to leave some nice comments down below so he can keep writing some amazing scripts for us. Or you can leave your complaints. He is a very chill guy. Anyway, let's move on. You could say that Honor's photo has no noise, but it makes poor Ezzy look like he's a plastic mannequin with no skin texture whatsoever. The iPhone lands second last again, burdened with truckloads of noise and basically no detail between all that grainy mess. The Galaxy is pretty much a mixed bag of heavy noise and overly aggressive noise reduction. Samsung definitely should have stuck to that 10x optical zoom on the S25 Ultra. The Pixel already shows Ezzy's face a bit clearer, and we can even see he forgot to shave. However, the contrast and structure are still a bit over the top for our liking. Talking about contrast, OnePlus also has quite a bit of it, but not as much as the Pixel. It does deliver a much clearer shot though. Of course, OnePlus and Oppo just have to go hand in hand, and even if the Oppo has a second telelens, the improvement in detail isn't huge. Contrast is better though, which is a plus. In a strong second place this time around is Vivo. Yeah, Ezzy's face is certainly still too smooth, but hey, it's miles better than the plastic blob Honor produced. Not bad, huh? That said, there's still one photo left to show. In a resounding first place is Xiaomi. I mean, this photo is excellent. We might not put it on the wall of our office, but to consider this was taken at 100x zoom is just mind-blowing. Xiaomi's AI enhancements are truly on another level when it comes to people. Honor, the iPhone, and the Galaxy all get 1 point. The Pixel gets 2, the twins OnePlus and Oppo get 3, Vivo gets 4, and Xiaomi gets 5. So welcome to our second category, capturing text at a distance. First up, this DHL sign. By the way, DHL are actually the initials of the founders of the company, Dalsy Hibblom and Lin. And we really thought this was gonna be a much more difficult challenge, but all phones actually do quite a good job here. Yeah, the iPhone is a bit pixelated and Honor is blurry, but you can still really clearly make out what the text says in all the photos. So we're gonna be fair and give 5 points to all of them. I know this was a very quick test, but we're gonna raise the difficulty level. Now let's walk a little further and find a more complicated sign. I think this one will do. Just like before, the iPhone ends up in last place, even if the large font is kind of legible. It's pretty rough. Next up is the OnePlus. Even though the bike itself looks fine, the font underneath is very wonky, and that yellow E underneath looks different from the real thing. On the Pixel's photo, the bike also looks good, but the whole shot looks a bit blurred altogether. Next up for us is Honor. Its photo is not bad, but the font doesn't look very clean, and the bike has a lot of chromatic aberration. This time, there's not a lot to complain about the Galaxy, except that the bike and the white lettering have a strange halo effect. This halo is also present on Xiaomi's photo, but the sign itself looks less rough compared to the Galaxy's. And once again, we have Oppo and Vivo in the final. Another pop quiz. Which photo belongs to which phone? I want to see your answer in the comments, so you better poke that pause button and put those thumbs to work. Alright, on the left is the Vivo X200 Ultra, and on the right, the Oppo Find X8 Ultra. This time though, for us, so don't lynch us, the win goes to Oppo. Vivo's photo is really good, but you can't really see the dot from the eye. It looks more like a small L. In Oppo's photo, the text is pretty legible with the dot in the eye and everything, so for us it's the clear winner in this round, even if AI has clearly helped it out a bit. Score time! The iPhone once again gets 1 point. Pixel, OnePlus, and Honor get 2, the Galaxy and Xiaomi get 3, Vivo gets 4, and Oppo gets 5. Alright, let's take this text recognition and processing to the ultimate level. And for this, we've prepared a little something in our studio. We're not telling you just yet what that little sign says, but in the meantime, you can try to guess it. Unfortunately, on the iPhone's photo, the text looks like hieroglyphics, placing it last for the millionth time. Sorry, not sorry, Apple. On OnePlus's shot, the text starts to become a bit legible, but it's still far from perfect or even acceptable. Can you already guess what it says? While Honor's photo isn't extremely superior to OnePlus, a few letters are already correct. But now you should be absolutely able to make out what it says, right? The Pixel is the first one where you can read the first word, but that small word is just a plaster. With the Galaxy, you can now even recognize the dots between the words, but it's still incapable of capturing what the small word says. Next up is Oppo. The subscribe part looks fine, but you can only throw random guesses at what the second part says, and that yellow circle is just lacking all detail. AI all things, that's Xiaomi's vibe with this shot, even though it isn't able to decipher that second word correctly, and let me tell you, that circle is definitely not an orange. Wanna bet if Vivo can tackle this test? Well, it does. Vivo's shot is the only one where you can see the second word most clearly. And if this subliminal message hasn't clicked yet, you better subscribe, please. And here's the big reveal, courtesy of our Nikon. Even though you can't clearly recognize the emoji, you can kind of guess that it is one, a twisted one. Nevertheless, really impressive, Vivo. Numbers again. iPhone and OnePlus get 1 point, Honor gets 2, the Galaxy and Pixel get 3, Oppo and Xiaomi get 4, and Vivo once again gets 5. Alright, so we've come to the part that you've all been waiting for, night shots. And we do have to apologize because we got so excited shooting photos that we didn't even realize that the juice had run out on our Nikon. To our surprise, Xiaomi ended up in last place. Its photo is completely blurred and you can't read the small text at all. For once, the iPhone didn't land in last place. However, its photo is still super pixelated and you can't make out the small text here either. The OnePlus generally takes a better photo, but the I becomes an L and the small text is still illegible. Oh, and the donkey got transfigured into a Tim Burton creature. The Honor does take a good photo, but it doesn't get the lower lettering right either. But hey, at least the donkey looks like a real-world donkey again. Here you can finally see what's written at the bottom. This photo coming from the Pixel. And just so you know, Buchhandlung is German for bookstore. Oppo takes an even sharper picture with the small text much more readable. However, the AI messes up the font a bit. So the best ones here are the Vivo and the Galaxy. Both photos clearly show what's on the sign, and that cute donkey looks pretty healthy too. However, you can clearly see Vivo's shot was processed with AI, while the Galaxy looks much more natural, which is why we actually see the Galaxy as our winner for this round. Congratulations on your first win, Sammy. Math again, Xiaomi gets 1 point, the iPhone and OnePlus get 2, the Pixel, Oppo, and Honor get 3, Vivo gets 4, and the Galaxy gets 5. So we've come to the final part, and that involves zooming in all the way to the moon. Haven't we all tried that at some point? And haven't we all received results like this? Well, this is what happens when you try to take a photo of the moon with your iPhone. Yup. So once again, the iPhone ends up right at the back. Then comes the Pixel. Here you can already see the Maria and the moon, which are large basalt plains. There you go, even more free knowledge for you. Oppo adds a strange texture to the moon, which is how you can clearly tell its photo was processed with AI. To be fair, the OnePlus does exactly the same, but that's expected since OnePlus is Oppo's sister after all. Xiaomi looks a bit better, but the moon is not really sharp and looks quite artificial. While the Galaxy's photo is very dark, it does look very natural. If it was just a little brighter, it would have been almost a perfect shot. For our final two, we have one photo from the Honor Magic 7 Pro and one from the Vivo X200 Ultra. Can you guess which one is which? Well, for us, the winner is Honor. Don't get us wrong, the photo from Vivo looks really good, but the Maria in Honor's photo looks just perfect. Honestly, the photo could have come directly from a zoom camera. Respect for that, Honor, and the AI team, of course. Honestly, the photo of the iPhone is so bad that we won't even give it a single point. The Pixel, however, gets 1 point. Oppo, OnePlus, and Xiaomi get 2, the Galaxy gets 3, Vivo gets 4, and Honor scores its first 5 points. To wrap things up with a bang, let's dive into the video quality. To keep things fair and square, we're sticking to 10 times digital zoom across the board since Honor just can't quite get any closer. Every phone is set to 4K 30 FPS resolution, and just like with the photos, we shot all these videos handheld. And oh boy, Honor, that's just not looking good at all. The image is super blurry and honestly, it's pretty much unusable. Now, the Pixel unfortunately gives us some super pixelated videos, pun intended. Yeah, it's a step up from the Honor, but that's not exactly a high bar to clear. OnePlus isn't really winning us over either. It's definitely getting a little better, but it's still nowhere near the league of the Nikon. The iPhone's video is kinda on the same level, though it's a bit noisier. It is sharper than the OnePlus, however, we're definitely not settling for that. The Galaxy is a tad too dark, but on the bright side, there's no noise and everything is sharp and clear. The stabilization stabilization, though, is a bit shaky. Oppo really knocked it out of the park here, showing us just how good a video at 10 times digital zoom can look. I mean, the stabilization is in a whole other league. It barely moves at all. But wait, can Zoom video get even better than Oppo's? The answer is yes, and both Xiaomi and Vivo stepped up to the plate. We've got to say, we don't see a huge difference between the Vivo and our Nikon. Yeah, the Nikon looks better, but one of these can fit in your pocket, and the other, not so much. Xiaomi looks absolutely amazing, but the stabilization on the Vivo is clearly superior. That's why for us, they're both sharing the top spot in this round. So in the end, Honor gets 1 point, the iPhone, Pixel, and OnePlus each snag 2, the Galaxy earns 3, Oppo gets a respectable 4, and both Vivo and Xiaomi take home 5 points. Alright, let's quickly sum everything up and reveal our winner in this deep zoom comparison. So, in last place with 14 points, we have the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Next up with 19 points, we have the OnePlus 13. We keep climbing, and with 22 points, we find the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Coming in with 24 points, we have the Honor Magic 7 Pro. In 4th place with 27 points is the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. And now for the podium, in 3rd place with a solid 32 points, we find the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, an absolutely great contender in our comparison. In 2nd place with 34 points is the Oppo Find X8 Ultra with truly impressive zoom capabilities, which of course puts the Vivo X200 Ultra with an incredible 41 points at the very top of this deep zoom comparison. So there you have it, all those improvements made by Vivo really paid off. But hey, do you want to see how good some of these phones are when it comes to their AI features? Make sure to smash this link right here for a mega AI comparison battle. And don't forget to give us a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and hit subscribe, as we're always testing new devices to help you make the best choice. We'll see you in our next video, and until then, take care. I mean, you can even make out Bartolomew sake again. I hope no one's called Bartholomew who watches this. By the way, DHL are actually the initials of the founders of the company. Dalsey Hill... Why? Like, seriously, why? See, this is why the script is 17 pages. Dalsey Hillblom, and Lynn. Dalsey I can't say it. Buch and why? Handlung. Which are large what? Why? Basal, I don't know. Why you gotta do such hard ones, Ezzy?